channel. Today I want to show you guys step by step how to make your rotors brand new. So this is my 2015 Maserati Ghibli. Okay, let's get into this. As you can see from the rotor, it's very rusty. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is my front wheel. Let's move to the rear wheel. So this one is very rusty as well. Okay, so first thing you have to jack up your car. So the jack up point is underneath of the vehicle. So here's the jack up point. So this is my low profile jacking stand. It's better to purchase some low profile because our car is very low, and it's better to have a low profile jacking points. Otherwise you'll hit the side skirt. Okay, now let's take off the wheel. My car equipped with locking lug nut, which is here. So here's the locking lug nut. See? So in order to unscrew this, you have to find the original lug nut unscrew kit, which normally is under your glove box in the front or in the back of the trunk. You can find these boxes. So here's your original screws, and this is one screw to unscrew the lug nuts are 17 millimeters, 17 mil. Now I'm going to use the impact gun. You guys also can use the brake valve, do it manually, but I want to save some time and effort. Make sure it's all the way in, otherwise you will strip it. This is how the locking lug nut looks like. It's a special pattern. All right, the rest of it is very easy. So it's better to take the star pattern to unlock and unscrew or screw all the wheels. So this one first, then this one next. 2, 3, 4, 5. We got all that out. Now, sometimes it's very easy to take off the wheel, but sometimes it's hard because it's rusty. Probably it's really hard if you didn't take it a long time ago. So you can have something like that, the plastic hammer. Slide it. Okay, now put it outside. Now we can get a close look of the brake disc of the rotor. So you see there are a lot of rusty here and inside. You see a lot of rust, as well as the center hub. It's like not only rust, it's also oxidized. Once you take off the wheel, you have to take off the caliper first. So in order to take off the caliper, you have 2 screws on the back of the caliper. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's two screws on the back of the caliper. Right, this is the top screws, and here's the bottom one. 2 additional screws, you have to take them off first. I'll show you. So I'm talking about these 2 screws. Here you go. So this is on the other side of the joint. Yeah, it's like so. This one screw. Another one. Okay, once you unscrew them, this is free of spring, right? So you free up. Now let's take off the two screws on the back of the caliper. Those are 10mm Allen. Okay. Here. All right, now you got to screw off. So now you can take off the caliper. Put it on the side. So now once you take off the caliper, there's an additional Allen bit to secure these rotors. So basically, I will not take this one off currently because I want to clean the dust first on the rotors. So it's easy for me. Otherwise, if I take off, it's hard for me to use one hand to clean up all the rusty stuffs. Other hands hold on the caliper, and we'll use the power tool here, and also a wire brush. So you can just spin freely and then clean the rotors like that. And as well here, right? It's gonna be very dusty, so it's better to have at least N95 masks put on your face. All right, once you put on your mask, then let's start. And you will find out this is very clean right now, as you can see here. You will close up. Yeah, it's hard to see, right? So you will see, right? This is the area that I cleaned, and this is the area I haven't cleaned. So you see the difference, right? Let's continue working on it. All right, now this one to me is it's clean. I can't clean the rusty inside of the in between of the two rotors, but this is the best thing I can do for now. All right, once I clean all of these ones, I find out the minimum thickness for this rotor is 13mm. Now you need a caliper, something like that, digital caliper. To measure the thickness of these rotors. Okay. So it's 30, it's around 32mm. So we have we meet the minimum requirements. Apply another brake cleaner to clear the dust. And just let them take several minutes to let them dry. Okay, so it's almost dry, and we already see the condition of this rotor, right? It's it's better than before, absolutely. And you'll see this is silver color instead of a brownish. So you basically have a clean, nice look right now already. But what I will do, I'm going to take this rotor off and apply a 302-4 coating of silver painting over the rotors to protect against the rust. So my rotor is really easy to clean off. If you find your rotor is hard to take off, you can grab a piece of hammer, right? Something like that. Okay, tap on the rotor like that. Make it wobble. Also tap in the middle of the harp. So make some vibration to get easy, kind of easy Yeah. All right. Once it's loose, then you can take it off. I'm going to clean the rust of the back of the rotor. As you can see, the front of the rotor and the back of the rotor are clean, right? I cleaned as much as I can, and it already looks better than before. Let's move to the next stage. So I'm going to spray paint. For the paint I'm going to use is from VHT caliper paint. This one can resistant to 900 Fahrenheit. And also, before you use it, you have to shake it like for a minute also. Okay, let's do it. It's about a minute. So let's just start spray paint that. So before you put your first coat, what you have to do is just spray somewhere else, not on the rotor. So here we go. So we want to go from left to the right evenly, like just doing like that. Imagine it's spraying, okay? So I'll cover as much I can about the entire rotors. Uh, it is totally fine if you cover your paint on the surface of the caliper, because once you press the brake, the paint will just goes away very quickly, because there's not too much stick of the paint will goes. Personally, I just take 3 or 4 coats. So the first coat will be the prime coat. Okay, let's start. So I'm going from the front and to the top, and then the rear. Okay, this is pretty much the first coat of the front of the rotor. So basically, you'll see I didn't cover all of the paint areas. This is fine because this is the only first base coat. So you'll see this has one base coat already on the rotors. I'll wait like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for another second coat on top of the rotor. Okay, so for a second coat, it's the same method. Here we go. Let's it settle down for 5 minutes, then we'll come back. The third layer of coat. After doing 3 coat of the rotor, to me, you can't tell if it's brand new or if it's not. If you from the video, right? Of course you can tell in person, but you can tell from the video itself. It looks like brand new. After half hour of the dry process, it's safe to touch. So we are turn around to have a coat on the other side of the rotor, which we didn't do it. Put another coat. Looks nice and even. Once the rotor has been fully painted and dry, we want to put it back onto the wheel. So first of all, I want to put some copper indices. So next time, if I want to take off the rotor, it's gonna be very easy. The rotor will not gonna stop to the harp. Okay. All right. Once the holes are aligned each other, you'll put this bullet back on. As said previously, this screw is T30. Make sure your screw is all the way in. I mean the torque split. It's all the way in. Otherwise, you have a chance to strip it. Gently tighten it. Okay. So this is the condition of the rotor. It looks awesome to me. You have to kind of push the piston back a little bit by our hand. Yeah, nothing too crazy. And slide the caliper on. The manufacturer recommends to replace both screws when you take them off. I'm not going to replace them because I'm going to inspect them like very frequently, so it's not a issue for me. So you need extra attention that the bolts for the front caliper, they are not 160 Newton meters. So the torque spec is the same for the rear, it's 105 Newton meter. Otherwise, you will strip. Of course, you'll strip the bolts, right? So if you strip your bolts, you better find a shop near Maserati shop, close to you. Otherwise, you can't get the same size of the bolt, right? So it's 105 Newton meters, both for the front caliper and the rear one. I asked the Maserati technician, so they confirmed the front and the rear are the same torque specs. Okay, once you secure the two bollet, you want to screw back two bollet for the center mount. Here's another tip. So if your rotor come with holes like that, you better to get a screwdriver which is 15 millimeters thick. So basically just put a screwdriver into the hole like that. Make sure you can get through. So this will help you, like when you brake, it will help you absorb the heat from these holes. Pretty much done this here. You now put your wheel back on. So before we put the wheel back on, it's also recommended to put some copper indices on the back of the wheel. So we are able to move the jack stand to the jack point. Here is the rear of the jack point. You guys can see it, right? So, just move your jack stand here. Okay, once I take the wheel off, you see the back of the rotor is, this area is rusty than the front one. I think this is because the rear ones didn't to put some Cooper indices when they put the wheel back on. Condition of the rear, yeah, it's rusty as well. So we have an e-brake in our car that when you parked, if you trigger the e-brake, the car will be locked on the rear, both rear end of the wheel. So now I can remove the rotor. What you need to do is just go into the car and disengage the e-braker. I'm in the car right now. Put your start-stop button here to run position. Basically, press twice. You'll see run signal here, right? Once it's in wrong position, put your foot on the brake. All right. Once you put your foot on the brake, then disengage the electronic brake. Okay. I don't know if you hear the sound, but it's nice in disengage. Okay. Now we can turn off the car. Okay, same for the front caliper. There's two bullets on the back of the rear caliper. They are different type. They are E18. Here the top one on the back of the caliper. This is the top one, another it's down in the bottom. It's hard to capture on the camera, but it's where my finger is pointing. Okay, in order to get this one off, you have to unplug the wheel center. So this is wheel center. It's really easy. So this is one clip. Just hold up and then detach it. It's really simple. So now you have a space to put the socket on. I put the wheel back on. So this is the condition of the new rotor, along with the wheel on and the caliper. I think it looks nice to me. Once I take the brake, the color of the caliper, this pin will gone. So I'll no longer have these ones for sure. But I think I got this job done. Okay. So this is the condition after 30 minutes drive of the painted rotors. You can see pretty much all the paint on the surface is gone, and you'll notice the paint on the outer side of the surface, it's still there, and this is there as well. And of course, you see why I want to just spray paint the surface, because your brake can never contact the inside and outside the edge. Your brake pad never contact these areas, so this area will left over. So if you don't plan to spray paint the surface, then these two areas will rust eventually. So it's better to cover all the areas, let your brake pad to do the job to get rid of the paint on the surface. So in this case, you have a nice, even, like new condition rotor.